Good morning. How you doing? I'm Dr. Ralph Sept Sr., and this is Dr. Ralph Sept Sr. Ministries. Today we will explore a thorn. That's right, we will explore a thorn. Apostle Paul complained of a thorn that was in his flesh, and he complained to God 3 times about this thorn that was in his flesh, or better yet, in his side. How many individuals today have been targeted or persecuted, and they have a thorn that is in their side or in their flesh? And today we will give in this lesson great revelation about when such a thing happens. We're completing our series on God will take the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. That's right. Apostle Paul was given a thorn in his flesh, and that has various meanings. It can be interpreted in several different ways, but actually, many scholars believe that it was a physical thorn that was placed in his side. Some believe that he suffered from being blind, and that infirmity was considered his thorn. But today, we'll go beyond and behind the scriptures because the answers lie directly in the Holy Scriptures. Now, we're in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, and we're going to start at verse 7.
Lest I should be exalted above measure, there was given to me a thorn in my flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me. 2 Corinthians 12 and 7.
And it says, and lest I shall be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations. Now, what Apostle Paul is saying, lest that I get too boastful or too great due to my spiritual revelations. And it goes further. There was given to me a thorn in my flesh. The answer is the next couple of words, what this thorn is. The thorn that was given to Apostle Paul, the messenger of Satan to buffet me. Now, that's the answer. So we can eliminate that it was a blind impediment, or we can eliminate that it was a lot of different things. I believe that Apostle Paul, whenever he went to spread the word of God, I believe that's a messenger of Satan. What is a messenger? A messenger is someone who takes and delivers messages. If he's a messenger of Satan, then those messages are being relayed to Satan, or representative thereof. So we can go as far as believing that this messenger of Satan was pretty much stalking Apostle Paul. So we're going to keep on reading, and we're going to keep on reading. And it says that least shall be exalted above measure. So he said, above my measure, it was given to me, a thorn in my side. Men and women of God, Many times we go through situations and circumstances. We have to be very cautious of what we ask God to remove. Many times certain things may be in place to humble you, or many things may be in place because it's God's will. And without certain situations happening, his revelation would not be able to come forth. So, with Apostle Paul, on his way to Damascus, he was thrown from his horse.
Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me?
Who art thou, Lord?
I am Jesus, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks.
Lord, what wilt thou have me to do?
Arise, and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do.
So, with Apostle Paul, on his way to Damascus, he was thrown from his horse and he was temporarily blinded. If this had not happened, he wouldn't have never became Apostle Paul. He would have remained Saul, the murderer of Christians. So we have to be very careful when we ask God to remove certain things. We have to ensure that they lined up with his will. So we're going to keep on reading.
For this thing I besought the Lord twice, that it might depart from me. 2 Corinthians 12:8.
Verse 8. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice. It didn't say twice, it said thrice. He went to God 3 times. I have this messenger of Satan. This messenger of Satan is buffering me. This messenger of Satan is a thorn in my flesh. Now, Apostle Paul is one of the greatest apostles of the Bible. He completed 75% of the New Testament. He has gone to God on 3 separate occasions to complain about this thorn that is in his side, and it's that thorn that is prohibiting him, even though he know that this thorn is put in place to humble him. So let's go down to verse 9.
And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9.
He said unto me, this what God replied to Apostle Paul was, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. So we want to get this again. I want to be very, very clear. He said, God speaking to Apostle Paul, strong Apostle Paul, man of the Bible, my grace, God saying, my grace is sufficient unto thee. My strength is made perfect in weakness. That's a powerful statement. How many of you out there right now, if you had not went through a bad situation in your life, would you be a Christian today? How many of you, if you had not hit rock bottom in a certain situation, would you still be a Christian? Would you still know God the way that you know him today? This thorn was given to Apostle Paul, and God allowed it. He said, the grace that I have provided for you is more than sufficient. Because of this thorn that was placed in Apostle Paul's side, in his flesh, because of this messenger of Satan, it caused him much displeasure. But yet and still, God said that my grace is sufficient. So whatever you're going through today, just understand that God's grace is more than sufficient. I am Dr. Ralph Sept Sr., and this is Dr. Ralph Sept Sr. Ministries. Have a good day.
Please subscribe, like, and hit the notification button. It'll be a blessing to this ministry. Get a copy of my new book, Inspirational, Healing, and Financial Bible Verses and Prayers. It'll be a blessing to you and your ministry.